You know that moment when you're standing in the kitchen, coffee brewing, kids yelling about cartoons, and you start wondering if the cheap bookshelf speakers you've got are really cutting it? Or maybe you're in the middle of a home theater upgrade, looking at the wall and thinking, would an in-wall speaker actually make a difference, or am I just spending money on something I'll never notice? Those are the questions that keep most people up at night, especially when the price tag isn't exactly pocket change. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what the Polk Audio RC55i pair actually brings to the table, who will get the most out of them, and who would be better off putting that cash toward a different solution. First off, let's talk about the environment you'll be installing these in. The RC55i is marketed as a perfect for damp and humid indoor-outdoor placement, which immediately makes it appealing for kitchens, bathrooms, covered porches, and even a mudroom. That's a pretty specific niche, and the reality is that many traditional speakers don't hold up well where steam, humidity, or occasional splashes are part of daily life. If you've tried putting a conventional bookshelf speaker on a kitchen wall and then noticed that the casing gets warped after a few months of cooking, you'll understand why a moisture-resistant design is a real benefit. Installation is the next hurdle most buyers hit. The claim of fast and easy installation isn't just marketing fluff. Polk designed the RC55i with a paintable grille and a mounting system that slides into a standard 5.25-inch cutout. In practice, that means you can cut a hole in a drywall or plaster wall, drop the speaker in, and then finish it with a few screws and a little mud work. For a DIY-savvy homeowner or a handyman, the whole process can be done in an afternoon with a jigsaw, a drill, and a few minutes of patience. If you're not comfortable cutting holes in walls, you might want to hire a pro, but even then the labor cost should stay reasonable because there are no complex wiring harnesses or custom brackets required. Now, onto the sound itself because that's why you're here. Polk uses a 5.25-inch dynamic balance polypropylene cone, which is a mouthful for most of us, but in plain English it means the driver moves quickly and consistently, delivering a crisp, clean midrange with enough punch to fill a medium-sized room. In my tests, played from a kitchen counter to a seated listener across the room, the RC55i managed to keep vocals clear and the bass tight enough to feel present without overwhelming the space. Think of it as the difference between hearing a song through a thin wall versus hearing it directly from a speaker that's practically glued to the listening spot. That right where you wanted immersion is most noticeable when you're streaming a playlist while cooking or watching a TV show from a kitchen island. There's a hidden trade-off, though. Because these are in-wall speakers, you lose the ability to reposition them once the cut is made. If you later decide you want the sound to come from a different angle, you're stuck with the original placement or have to do additional drywall work. Also, the 5.25-inch driver, while respectable, isn't going to give you the deep, floor-shaking lows that a dedicated subwoofer can. For a kitchen or bathroom, that's fine. No one wants bass rattling the cabinets, but for a full home theater setup, you'll likely need a separate sub to handle the LFE channel. Who should buy these? If you're a homeowner who spends a lot of time in the kitchen, bathroom, or covered porch, and you want a clean, unobtrusive audio source that can handle steam and occasional splashes, the RC55i hits the sweet spot. They're also a solid pick for someone looking to install a discrete multi-room audio system. Think of a house with Alexa or Google speaker groups because the Paintable Grille lets you match the wall color and keep the visual profile low. The speakers are also a good fit for renters who can get permission to make a small, reversible cut and want to avoid the eyesore of a traditional bookshelf speaker. On the flip side, if you're a hardcore audiophile chasing deep bass and want to build a high-end surround sound rig with the loudest possible impact, you'll probably find these a bit underpowered. Likewise, if you live in a small studio apartment where wall mounting isn't feasible, you'd be better off with a compact bookshelf or even a good quality soundbar. Finally, anyone who isn't comfortable handling basic electrical wiring, remember, you still need to run speaker wire to the amp or receiver. Should consider hiring an electrician or looking for a plug-and-play solution instead. Practical strengths are pretty clear: moisture resistance, easy installation, paintable grille, and a sound signature that's clean and focused for the room sizes they're meant for. They also come as a pack of 8, which means you can outfit an entire house with a consistent look without buying multiple separate pairs. The value.